Well, here we are, Snyder Deck, and I got quite a project on my hands here. I called Sherwin-Williams and they told me that this paint was permanent. Doesn't look too permanent to me. Turns out taking off that paint is going to be a harder challenge than I thought, so pray for me and for my family. But now it's time for your staff video update. Wasn't it great having Lee back this weekend? Oh man, I thought he sounded great, looked great, loved how the church appreciated him. His message connected. It was awesome to be at South Toledo and hear him there. I thought the couch stories were fantastic, and so it was a good weekend for a lot of people, for our church, for Lee, and I'm hoping to use a little interview I had with him on Monday about what it's like to serve at a church, serve under another senior pastor, and some of those things. And his perspective is always great. So that was a great weekend. Hopefully we're celebrating that together. Another thing that we're celebrating is Serve Day. We had Serve Day this past week, and when we launched the idea, I think there were a lot of questions like, okay, what can we expect? What would be reasonable to expect for a win? At the end of the day, after this past weekend, I mean, we're celebrating a lot of great stories. Group leaders organically dreaming about how God wants to use them to make a difference. And the different stories that I heard were awesome. And I know for me, in our group, it was a little challenging at first to land on a project, but dreaming about it together and serving together was super life-giving. And you know, the task that we participated in, helping somebody move furniture from a storage unit to their apartment, I don't know that changed her life forever or made a forever impact, but I think it helped her feel like she mattered. And I tell you what, it was a huge step for the first time for some of our people in our group, and it was also a step of them doing this together, so much so that they're like, we want to do that again. That was great. Overall, we had about 35 projects tackled. We had about 425 people engaged in Serve Day that we know of. And if you go to Instagram and look at Serve Day 419, that hashtag, what you'll see are lots of pictures. It was awesome. In fact, Dino Rizzo, who is I think he's certainly a part of ARC. He might even be part of Church of the Highlands. He helps lead some of the ARC Church's initiative on this. Featured one of our photos in the 900 churches that participated in Serve Day in July. And so, way to go, team. Super excited about what God is doing there. Another thing we're excited about and celebrating is we got a fresh crop of interns coming in and some apprentices that are continuing on. And so in the executive summary below, you're going to see their names. Make sure you congratulate them. If you're the intern at the meeting right now, if you would just kind of wave at everybody, I'm here. I know a lot of these interns, and man, it's an impressive group, inspiring group. In fact, in some ways, I look at them and I'm like, you're a better intern than I was when I was done with the internship. So I can't wait to see what we're going to learn from them and how God's going to use them to make an impact in our organization, in our church. So celebrate them. We'll see them at the next staff meeting. This coming weekend, we're going to wrap up 1 Peter. And so I'm excited about that. Yes, I'm excited about a lot tonight. As we kind of bring that conversation to a close and at the end of the video, I'm going to be speaking out of 1 Peter 5 this weekend. And there's just some great content in there for us as church leaders. He gives a specific message to elders. And yes, we have elders. But I think within that message are some things for all of us as leaders, whether leading of a family, leading of a church, to remember. And so at the end of the video, if you're not doing a devotional with the team, I would encourage you or ask you to consider reading through that in preparation for this weekend. Next weekend, we'll be starting a brand new series called This Is Me. If you have seen The Greatest Showman, there's a song in there, super popular. It was at the Grammys. And I think what we're hoping, the tagline of this series is discovering your potential with a limitless God. And I think throughout the year, I've been trying to find key places in the calendar to take a intentional look at one of the steps in the spiritual journey. So Finally Free was a know God step, but ultimately it was a how do we find and live in freedom the way that God intended us to be. The Imagine Heaven series was really about heaven, but it helped give vision to what the spiritual journey will ultimately look like in heaven, how the spiritual journey helps us experience heaven now. This series is going to take a deeper look at how we discover our purpose. And typically, we let our personality limit us, how we feel like we're wired. We think that God uses those people, not people like this sometimes. We use our past as a limitation. Oh, I made these mistakes, or I didn't have this in my past, or I didn't do that, and so therefore God can't use me. We let our passion, we limit how God can use our passions, and how God may even want to transform some of our passions. And then we use this place like Northwest Ohio, or my place in life, or we think that God uses people who go there, wherever there is. And so really, it's going to be a fantastic journey for us to go on. And here's what I'm going to ask as we begin to prepare for that. That you would go on the journey with us and go, okay, what are the things in my personality that I allow to limit God, and in my past, and in my passions, and in my placement? And as you engage in that spiritually yourself, it helps install that spiritual journey language deeper into our church. To me, that has been our strategic focus all year, and it's going to continue to be our strategic focus through the end of the year. I don't know that I've articulated it that clearly, but our strategic focus isn't just to download. When you download software, that doesn't mean it's installed or that you're using it. And so we want to make sure that we're not just downloading Growth Track. We want to install the language of knowing God, finding freedom, discovering purpose, and making a difference, and the continual steps that we make in that, and how we help others make continual steps in that, into the heart of our organization. So when we do a big invite, we're not just doing a big invite, we're going to leverage the big invite to install know God, find freedom, discover purpose, and the big purpose of the big invite is to make a difference in people's lives. When we do our capital campaign, that isn't just going to be, hey, we're raising money to do more stuff as a church. That is an opportunity to help install spiritual journey language into not what we are giving for, but where we are giving from. And so a heart that knows God and is engaging with Him and the difference that He wants to make through us. When we launch Oregon, we want to use spiritual journey language. The Dream Team launch event is about spiritual journey language. And so we want to keep bringing that up, and this series is going to help us specifically with that step. After that, can you believe it? It's Big Invite, September 8th and 9th. We are going to be launching a series called Issues. Issues, you have them, I have them, we all have them. Let's talk about the issues that we wish we could get some resolution to in our life. And so you're going to see on social media some surveys sent out, participate in them, forward them. That'll help us generate some of the ideas some of the issues that we are going to be talking about in September. And my hope is to find issues that you and I want to think about and learn more about, but also issues that are easy to invite the people in our life to come and hear more about. So be looking forward to that. And ultimately, next weekend, we're going to be launching the 21 Days of Prayer. I want you to be praying about that big invite also. All the advertising and series and promotion and all of that is great. But if God isn't in it, it doesn't matter what we do. And so we want to make sure that we are praying our way into this next ministry calendar. All right? All right. This weekend, next series, big invite, serve day, interns, Lee. Now what I want you to do is participate in a little mission statement exercise. Here's what you need: a piece of paper, a pen, or a piece of technology, a laptop, a phone. And here's what I want you to do. I want you to write down our mission statement. Can you? If you can't write it down, you can hit pause and have someone share it with you. And if you're by yourself, just think a little bit longer. Now, let's see if you got it right. The mission of Cedar Creek exists to help spiritually restless and unchurched people love Jesus, serve others, and tell the world about Christ. Lee brought the mission statement up. It's been a heartbeat of ours for a long time, but that isn't the only way we've ever said our mission. It used to be to help spiritually restless and unchurched people become fully devoted followers of Christ. And we felt like we needed to give some specifics of what that churchy language of become fully devoted followers of Christ really looked like. And I would say Love, Serve, Tell has loved, served, and told a lot of people at our church. In fact, I don't think there's anything wrong with our mission statement, but I want to invite you into a little evaluation exercise. Are you ready? I want you to take the mission statement paper that you're on and divide it down the middle. And on the left side, I want you to write down the 3 to 5 things that people in our church, the core in our church, they resonate with as it relates to the mission of our church. Go ahead, hit pause, write them down, talk about it. What are the things in our church that people resonate inside of our mission? If I were writing some things down, it's the spiritually restless and unchurched. People resonate with that we are a place that it's safe to invite friends. And that's one of the things that makes us unique. So our core resonates with that. I think another thing that our core resonates with is the Jesus focus in our mission. It's not just generic. There's a Jesus focus, which is good. I think another thing that people resonate with is the serve others. That we're not just here to make bigger buildings for ourselves. We want to reach beyond ourselves, beyond our walls. We want to serve others in a practical way. I think those are things that get us excited. And on the other side, this may be a little bit more challenging for you. I want you to list some things that you feel like might be missing or challenging about our mission statement. And if you don't have any, that's fine. But think like, is our mission statement relevant for where we are at today? I don't want to change our mission, but is it the way that are there things that are missing in the essence of what seems to be resonating in our staff and in our congregation today? Go ahead and write those down. I think for me, one of the challenges or questions that I get asked is, once I'm not spiritually restless or unchurched, is this a church for me? How do we help cast vision in our mission statement for that group? If I'm already in a relationship with Jesus and kind of serving and telling a little bit, then what's in it for me? And I'm not saying we have to change anything for that, but I think that's something that for some people is missing. I think another thing that's missing is the spiritual journey language. We have love, serve, tell. Is it love, serve, tell, or know God, find freedom, discover purpose, make a difference? And that raises the question, do we even need spiritual journey language or that kind of specificity, that's a big word, in our mission statement at all? And another thing is the you matter. We talk about you matter and transforming our community. And so I think where this is leading us is, what is the purpose of a mission statement? A mission statement should be a simple, memorable, repeatable statement that answers the question why we do what we do, what it is that we are all about at the end of the day. And so I think for years, Cedar Creek exists to help spiritually restless and unchurched people love Jesus, serve others, and tell the world about Christ, is help answer that question. And in this season, I think it's time to go on a journey to go, hey, God, what do we need to clarify for us, but also for each of our guests, what we are about? Not to say that the old mission statement is wrong, but is there a way that we can refresh some of that language to help us in this next chapter of what God has for us? And so as a leadership team and as a management team, we've been wrestling through this for a few months. And here's what I want to do. I want to offer to you a statement, and that's this, a potential. We're not locking in or making a decision, but you can write this down. Cedar Creek exists to connect people to Jesus and help everyone make a difference. Cedar Creek exists to connect people to Jesus and help everyone make a difference. It has some of the beginning of the spiritual journey and the end result. Doesn't answer every step, but it paints a vision of what we try to do every weekend, every group, every growth track, every dream team. If we could have every person living out that mission, it would change our community, right? So take a second and go, what do you like about it? What's going to continue? Where's the heart of our mission that people resonate with in this? And then on the other side, what are the things that you feel like it might be missing? And why don't you talk about that, write that down, process it with your direct report? Because I think my hope over the next few weeks is to begin to narrow in on a mission that I know won't be emotionally satisfying for everybody, but will be something that fits in this spiritual journey language that we are utilizing more and more to help us bring more clarity in the weeks and months ahead. So this is my second video. I tried to do it in less than 15 minutes, and it's at 14:30. So I'm going to cut you loose to talk about it as a group now and step into that devotional if you have time. Love serving with you guys. We'll see you later. I'm going to start working on my deck.